All right, Victor Feria, Tangy Talks. We are back after a couple of weeks off.
Officially, we are back and glad to be back. How are you, Steve? How are you feeling? How are you feeling?
Listeners, the reason we were off for a couple of weeks, we had Victor fall ill. He fell apart on me for a couple of weeks.
Quite literally, with the flu. That's the most intense flu that I've had, I think, in ages, man. Really, like, derailed me completely. So that took a week off for me.
Yep. And then you might hear I'm a little stuffed. I've been battling from falling apart, but I was like at 60% on Wednesday, 70% yesterday, today about 85, I think. What would Victor like to say? What would you like to say?
Yep, 50% of Steve, sometimes 100% of somebody else. So we'll take 60%, man. We'll take
Some
60.
great shirt's a little baggy, so like it. We need it. We keep it going. But we've had a lot going on in the last couple of weeks.
We have.
Had some properties sell. We've signed some new properties. We've had team members that have been doing really well, and other things that we had to motivate. So maybe we talk a little bit about keeping teams motivated, especially during busy season. Uh, we just had a lot happening.
Yeah.
Some of the new homes we signed, right? What you want to talk about? Some of the areas that we signed some places.
Oh, it's been a great month for us. We signed 4 properties this month. One in Maryland, which is a completely different market for us. So I'm excited to get the kick started there. We already got a 14-night reservation. I know we'll discuss a little bit of horror stories, but we got obviously a horror story of our first reservation, guest checking out and leaving it a mess with pets. But we'll keep it good. We'll keep it good.
Dorm.
That's normal. That's normal. Everyday operations. But Maryland, we got one in Hollandale, which is a really nice and a great location. Hollandale here in South Florida, a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, fully furnished, really, really nice. It's up on our website. And we got our first reservation also coming in today. We signed another property in South Carolina. So we're growing our Charleston market, which I'm excited. It's called South Carolina River Haven. That one's also up and listed. I'm excited for that one. It's another 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom. I say it's the Tangy touch. You got the beautiful blue with the orange decor, couches and furnishing. So I'm excited about that one. And then our big one, right? Our property in Coconut Grove, right next to Coco Walk, walking distance basically. It's a really nice 3-2 home, right? Basically in the Art Walk, Coconut Grove Art Walk district. We're going to call it Art Walk Manor. So I'm excited for that one because we know how well, that area performs.
Yep.
And its location, it's, one of a kind. Basically, every year we have Coconut Grove Art Walk, and the actual Art Walk starts off on that street. So when guests arrive, they'll see beautiful banners. They'll see like a really big sign saying Art Walk starts here. So I think it's really unique, and it's, I think it'll set itself apart with the experiences, right?
Yeah. I wish we would have had that to start the month. That would have been great because March is the busiest month in South Florida. And we're starting to learn all the other markets, like their high seasons and low seasons. It's really cool to see how it all flows in different areas, right? Because like we're sold out down here in South Florida, and then up in the mountains, it's slow, right? And so, but Charleston seems to be doing solid, and Maryland we're picking up now. So really good tools that we're using to give us insight into everything and having detailed competitive sets. So for listeners, you don't know what that is, like really seeing what everyone else around you is doing, including hotels. So it's just a good way to learn all different markets. So really exciting, proud of the team. We're pushing the sales. We got a new salesperson coming on to help us continue to grow. So really exciting. I love what we're doing.
Absolutely.
And just some weird places because, we talk about the good stuff, but we also had some places sell or decide to not want to do short-term rental anymore. So we've adapted to that.
Yeah.
Right? Long-term rental service, but sometimes, we had these long-term properties, one from the very beginning that decided to change business, and then another that I don't think had the stomach for short-term rental. They wanted to be too involved, I think. So.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not for everyone, right? And it's the real part and the difficult parts of the day to day, especially with owners, that have a different expectation. So it's just so important, right? Like you are bringing on a property, you think that's the right owner. We always talk about that, right? Right owner, right property. And everything feels great, sounds great. They're all for it. You set the expectation, but like you said, some owners, sometimes can't stomach what occurs and things that are out of our control. We're hotel hospitality guys, so I think we've seen it all. I think we've shared on this podcast a ton of horror stories, but this one particular, property had some unruly guests causing issues in the neighborhood, and little things like that of that nature. And
We squawked it within hours. So
once they're within hours, I mean, I think that's probably been one of the best recoveries that we've done for some hard guests. But we have process, we have standards, we have things that we follow to make things right. We can't control 100% of everything. We'd be lying if we say that every single guest that comes here and stays in our property are the perfect guest. But we have a lot of standards and we have a lot of best practices where we avoid a lot of them. So I'd say, out of 100, we'll have one or two. I'll take that any day, right?
100% with that, man. But our team does a great job, vetting everyone and filtering out like a 1 in 50 thing, 1 in 60 stay thing. I think when that happens, but sometimes that happens right when you're starting. But a lot of good places. So if you haven't yet, you're listening to this in the car, pause the podcast, go check out tangymgmt.com. See all the new stuff we've got going on. If you haven't yet, we've launched the new website here end of last year, which was really exciting.
Yeah,
really well, getting direct bookings. So that has been fun.
I'm excited. Yeah, that's one thing we didn't cover. We hired our new SEO team, has been helping us, drive traffic to the website, and that's been interesting. Something new, and we're like you said it earlier, we're growing the team. We got sales, we got SEO, our social media market. So we're marking off every component of this. But we got articles up now on every week coming up on our blog post on our website. I'm excited for next week. We're actually gonna release our checklist, a checklist that we worked on. So it's like a owner checklist where they can just mark off everything that the guests expect, prior to hosting. So thinking of making it a paid checklist. I don't know.
I think we give it for free. Our stuff. That's what I've always learned from Gary Vaynerchuk and some of the top guys. You give away your best stuff, they still need someone to help them. Still need someone. You can give everyone a playbook, but can they actually run the plays? So that's where I was looking at that.
You're right. So yeah, that's something else we got going on there. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, that checklist is, I think it can help anybody. So we'll give it away for free.
Something else, man, I'm very proud of is Victor Feria here has become his own hospitality mentor. He's getting out there, getting out to giving talks on panels, going back to your high school. Tell us a little bit about what you had going.
Yeah, man, that's it's exciting. It's been a really cool and unique last 2 weeks. But last week, actually this week on Tuesday,
This week,
all this week. So all this week. Wow. So basically on Tuesday, which I'm sure a lot of listeners were probably on, Breezeway held their conference, their annual conference, which I think was
Breezeway for people that don't know. What is Breezeway?
Yeah. So Breezeway is our task management, and then also where we set up cleanings. They have communication services. They have a lot of other services as far as like if you have a storage and you want to keep things organized. So it's a really good tool that we use here daily for inspections, for for everything that you can imagine operational. So they do a really good job. We love Breezeway. So I got the honor and I was invited to be on one of the panels, specifically on the process of guest from before, during, and after, where we talked with a great panel about that whole process and how each management company kind of goes away or goes through that process. So that was really exciting. I shouted out Tangy Radio, got me motivated. So Tangy Radio also is gonna have a nice little relaunch. So I'm excited.
I'm looking for a new soundtrack.
It will. So we're doing
go on YouTube, find Tangy Radio. It's good vibes for different moments of your day. So poolside, dinner. I don't think you have a breakfast one yet or a coffee. I need a coffee jazzy vibe. If you can hook me up with that, please.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got the poolside splash. We got sunset grooves. And then what you mentioned, we got also like beach, and dinner vibes. So I'm excited. I talked a little bit about that, and it showed a lot of interest because I think it's something unique, right? And
explain how we use it.
Yeah, so Tangy Radio is basically a curated playlist that we basically send to our guest or a link to to kind of get that experience and that that thrill of, going on vacation right before you stay. And we basically send them a link saying, hey, this is a curated playlist that we put together for you to get you excited for your stay. Check it out before you arrive. And then when they get to our properties, bam, it's playing on the TV, right? So they made that connection, they made that experience. Oh my God, I just listened to this on the way here with my kids and my family. Now I'm here and it's playing on the TV. Like, what a great way to start. So I shared a little bit about that, and immediately there was a lot of interest in it. People, started messaging me through LinkedIn, asking me how they could do one. So I'm happy to share, how I got it done, which is very simple. Just a little creativity, a little bit of time, uh, and then we could also help you with that, right? We could also help you with your own property. So I'm thinking you could brand it visually for your own property, maybe like a drone shot of your house, beautiful drone shot looping. Or if you're in in an attraction or an area where there's a lot of attraction, you do a beautiful, looping video as well with your vibe, uh, whatever you want to match it for your property. So I think it's really cool, and it speaks volume as far as like how people are more interested. So I'm excited, and we're getting that relaunched. So you're going to be seeing new playlists coming up soon.
I love yeah, it's about the unique experience, creating the emotional hook to somebody before they get there because they're most excited. Someone is most excited about their trip the moment after they book it, right? Those 48 hours after is when people are most excited. So we want to upsell things. We want to offer them things that help make their experience better and guests are most willing to spend during that time. And so we're actually giving them the option with other things that we have. But I love that we're setting the mood and setting that hook. So when they're listening to that music and they get there, it goes back to the emotion they had before they booked. So it's great to have. I love that we're doing it. It's just a fun thing that we're doing. We're flirting with our guests before they get there, is what I like to say. Like we're
I like that. I like that. And who better to say that than you, Steve? Right? That your experience first, right? And all the projects that you have
there.
done, and in hotels and what we're doing. So yeah, I think it's super interesting. You're the one that drives and push that, and I think Will Slicker, shout out Will Slickers. He mentioned the other day he had a LinkedIn post that he figured out what's missing in short-term rentals, and it's hospitality, right? So I think he kind of had a point in saying that, and that's what our mindset is, and wanting to get that guest experience.
Yeah, well, I love that we're doing it. We got our Biscayne coffee. We have our branded amenities. We got a bottle of wine for VIPs. We handle birthdays. Like we take care of the people coming, tag people's VIPs. We're getting the notes on them. It's harder and harder to do in vacation rental, but there's ways to do it, right? Because in hotels, you're all in one building. But this, I think we've got a good system going.
Definitely doing 100 minutes.
But yeah, well, that's out there this week, man. Great work. But like you said, there's all different things going on in the world out there. So I think we start with I think maybe the funniest one to me.
Really?
We say that a Harry Potter themed Airbnb was traumatized after finding 6,000 in damages. What'd they say, Victor?
We never thought this could happen.
Oh my God. You're not thinking it can happen. So listeners, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you can go to the article to come see it. There is some really gross pictures. Also died in a bed or their bodies fell out from inside, but that's pretty gross. They trashed the house like a party. It's just sad to see, but I like the headlines, very grabbing with Harry Potter, but the pictures make me laugh. It's like some decals that they put on like in a kid's room and some Harry Potter linen.
SEO right there, what we were talking about earlier. They use that Harry Potter word, right? That brand.
And we're going to use it here. We're going to have a clip. So this Harry Potter plays destroy, but tell the listeners here, how do we go through and block people from destroying our place? What are some things that we've got?
Yeah, no. First of all, it was disgusting. I'm glad you didn't show the pictures. We were debating, and I'm like, yeah, let's not do it. But yeah, man, it's sad, and it's a sad reality. We talked about it just now, but these things can happen, right? And it's how you're protecting yourself and thinking ahead before you allow a reservation to come in and stay in your property. So first off, we just remember and kind of when if you're listening and you're thinking about this, like, oh my God, it could happen on my property. Just remember, everything can get back, you can put everything back to normal. These things are, material things. It can be done. Yes, it's a pain, it hurts. It could, hurt, future bookings, but just trust, especially if you have in a team. That's how I always like to feel. When we get these crazy pictures of properties, I know that we got a solid team that's going to go back in there and turn this place back to how it originally was. So first, I think, tell yourself that. So you get away from that, allow yourself a couple hours maybe to be upset, but after that, just know that that's gonna be the case. But verification super important. Asking guests what are their plans, what are the reasons for their stay. We use Guesty right now. Guesty has a new system which I love, love, love. It's called the check-in form that they just developed, where they're basically asking the guest in all one form. They're asking them to sign our guest agreement, as well as adding ID, and then it all has like timestamps, right? So you see when the guest opened it, so you could tell right off the bat if a guest is uninterested in following your rules when they're not even opening it or wanting to sign that. So that's a telltale sign for us. And then also, setting expectations, right, to the guests and reminding them, of what you do, that these are real people that are coming into the property, to respect the property as if it were yours. We have in our check-in instructions always like, hey, as most of our properties are residential areas, hey, you're very close to neighbors. We want to respect their quality of living. Let's respect the house. Let's respect their neighbors. And it sets a clear expectation. We got a lot of, I hate to say it, but we sometimes get some cancellations when guests see our house rules, which I think it's a positive. But, yeah. So
They know that it's not going to be an easy house. And I'm going to add in too, like a lot of things because of cameras that we recommend the owners put in the front of the house at the very least. And then also I like that we have our door locks that have individual codes to protect the house so people can't come back now, right? They have the 3 code. So that has been something that we've been pushing very hard for all of our owners that still want to have a lock and key and lock box, right? We want to make sure that we're keeping people safe. There's new laws here in Florida, so we have to track everything that's going on. So I'm glad we're doing that now as a team. Yeah, there's a lot of things, but I think just asking the questions and just putting a little couple of hurdles in front of people that might be like, no, this is not the place. They're already, giving us a hard. It's going to be hard when we get there, but it's really property is our number one goal for the owners. That's their biggest asset in most cases. Like
protect the investment.
we got to protect that, and then also make sure the guests have a good time. But we do a good job of that. So,
Yeah.
right.
I think one little other detail that I'm thinking about is also like our damage protection, system as well, right? So we always tell our owners that we want to create safety nets, right? So obviously, they have their home insurance or property insurance. We always want to ask owners to also get a liability coverage as well, which is super important. We know that Airbnb covers up to $1 million verbal as well, but let's add another tier of safety net, right? So work with a company that basically we charge guests a non-refundable fee, $32. It's much better than a damage protection or a damage deposit of $500, $600, but that $32 covers up to $3,000 in damage, no questions asked. And that's if the guests don't want to pay, if Airbnb doesn't want to help, we have that, last safety net. Wouldn't cover Harry Potter theme because I think it was 6K.
But cover up to 3.
Should cover up to 3.
Correct. And we take care of those things for our owners. And so, I think that's important as well. So I like it, man. We're protecting the properties, making sure that they're good. I think some of the things that are coming up now is that it may start getting harder in certain cities to continue doing short-term rentals. And we've seen that. We've talked about it in New York. We've talked about it in Europe. We've talked about it in other cities. And now it looks like New Orleans is going to be one of the tougher ones. So Airbnb sues New Orleans after it adopts sweeping regulations governing short-term rentals, where they're trying to ban people from outside the state from owning vacation rentals, and they want people to be in them. So, again, another major city here in the U.S. What do you think about when you see this, Mr. Perry?
Right away, I think about when Airbnb sued Miami Beach, right? Not too long ago, when Miami Beach, was going through similar regulations and requiring basically before Airbnb lists a property that owner needs a short-term rental permit, not only, listed on in the property itself in a frame, etc., but also on the Airbnb. They can't list basically with that. And obviously, Airbnb, similar, New Orleans, sued the city, which I think came down to a settlement. Nothing really came out of it, but I think that's Airbnb kind of flexing their muscles, right? So we'll see. It's interesting. It's a big city, right? New Orleans. It's one of the neater.
And we have some friends that have places there, that have buildings there. a wake up call to all of us that any major city could shut things down at any time is how do you have other revenue streams? How can you pivot if those things happen? Can you go longer term? Can you go midterm? Can you figure out those things? But also to make sure you're doing things the right way and
Right.
legally, right? And getting the short term license in the properties that are legally done. I know in South Carolina we have to post those numbers, right?
Yeah. 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 South Carolina and Charleston, I always talk about this. It's not an easy process, but it has been the most black and white process, right? You go through, you got to get your business license, your business short-term rental. You have to post on Airbnb your license, and they even take it up a step. You have to have a decal in your front window, basically showing that this is an STR property and this is our permit. So really similar to hotels, to businesses, right? You go in there, they usually have their business license and all of that. It's the same process in South Carolina, which, again, it's not an easy process. There's a lot of steps, but it's been black and white. I prefer that any day versus running around trying to get information and processes that are broken or take too long. This process took us, less than a week. The renewal process is simple. So if anybody in any city or municipality is listening to this, I want to do it the right way. Just try to look at, what Charleston is doing. And, I think you'll be on the right track.
See, that's what's so good about being in other markets. We can see how things actually should function.
So true, right? So true.
Be it and learn about it. But we're also seeing a lot of changes coming up now too in the way people are booking, right? Like we were just talking about it and looking at our reports. So every week we're looking at the pace of things, which means how quickly things are booking compared to the year before, when people are booking. And it's amazing to see now that the majority of our bookings are coming in the month, but also within the 14 days. And a ton of them, like I'd say more than 50% within 7 days. So people are booking for that week in that week. And it's very challenging to make sure you're budgeting correctly and have your expenses dialed in and having enough supplies. So you really have to be dialed into your history, but we're seeing it now. I have some thoughts on it, and then I want to ask you your thoughts on why you think it is. But I think now people realize, especially in bigger cities that have plenty of vacation rentals, that they can go on Airbnb or Booking or VRBO or Hopper or one of the other many platforms and find a place that's probably going to be pretty good in the city they want to go to. And they're finding they can get good deals because a lot of operators, including us, give discounts within that last week. So if we don't have a booking, we want to get a booking. And so, of course, you drop the rate if you don't have anything filled. It's a little bit different than hotels because that home is a standalone.
Exactly.
It's not like having a 1,000-room hotel and you try to make your strategy within that hotel. That could get more full. You raise the prices, right? You want to book that house or that owner doesn't make money. So it's a little bit of a different strategy than you would see in homes. But it's very surprising that I think people are looking for deals. Do you see it different? Because you stay in a lot of vacation rentals. I don't usually,
Yeah.
which is me to say, but you do.
Yeah. This year, to your point, Steve, I think the first year that I've seen so many guests, like you said, book last minute and ask for discounts on peak months. Right now in March, we get people asking us for discounts. So I think guests are, getting wittier. They're getting, like you mentioned, there's a lot more availability as far as properties. You can, 5, 6, 7 days prior to you going on a trip, you can find a really, really nice property. So it's not that rush anymore. Like, oh my God, March, we got Ultra, we got spring break here in South Florida. We need to get a property 6 months ago. We're seeing now those last minute reservations and those refunds, the discounts questions, which is usually common in the summer, which is completely normal. We love, giving discounts because we believe, you know, even if it's $100, $50, the guests feel like, all right, these people want to work with me. They'll give me a discount. They'll feel like, all right, I won. I got a deal. So it just surprised me. It has really surprised me in these really high demand months. And like you said, it's been hard for us to plan, right? And to budget, and to kind of forecast. So it's been difficult. How is it? I know you mentioned you touched on the hotel, but like, hotel has like a really long lead time, right? Like longer.
You have a mix, right? And so a hotel, depending on the type of hotel, the hotels that you and I worked at or had a lot of convention business. So you would have business on the books and know, all right, I've got these 400 rooms booked for this convention, and there's different groups that are going to be there. So you could layer things on. And then we would have the travelers that would book 20 days out, 30 days out. But very rare is it like what we're having now, where I just a bunch of same day bookings, right? Like for the same day, for the same night, I need a place to stay, and then booking. And we're gonna have some during the week, like Monday through Thursday openings, but not much on the weekend. But we're seeing it, and I'm like, I will wake up and look at all the reservations, like, man, we had 2 same day bookings for that time. And so if we hadn't scheduled correctly, where some people will cut corners and not have a housekeeper
Ready.
every time somebody checks out, you have to have your place ready to go, or you risk getting that last minute booking and then having to cancel or having someone show up, which then dings your profiles.
Yeah.
And
That's so cool. Yeah, you said it well, especially in the hotel. I mean, I think this time the hotels in Miami Beach, the the really big ones are probably already sold out, right? So those last minute reservations that you
sure, they're running high. They're in like the high 85s, 90s. And so they raise the prices way up because, yes, a lot of people want to sell out. But like the saying in hotels, if you sold out, you were too cheap, right? And so therefore, it's the big time rates. So like when I went to dinner with one of our, hopefully we'll be able to talk about it a little bit more, over at Faina Hotel, which is a 5-star, 5-diamond hotel. I looked for that Monday night booking, the book same night. It was $1,800 for their worst room, right? And
incredible.
no room is bad at that hotel, by the way. We love Faina, and we have properties that we manage, but it's just amazing to see what it is. And then right next door at the one hotel, it was $2,400 a night, right? So some of these hotels are charging banana prices, but because they know, like, all right, you want to stay here, we only have a handful left, we'll charge it. Versus like if it was their only room, they would discount that to fill it, like we have to do with the house.
There is, and we're lucky. I mean, you have a lot of tools and you have a lot of connections still in the hotels, and we're lucky when we're looking at pacing, where you can quickly send a message and say, hey, how are you guys looking in the summer? So hotel data for us is also very important, right? And I know we're looking at short-term rentals, other properties, but hotel.
People looking, I'm going to Miami or Miami Beach. I
Exactly.
now too. Like I'm going on a trip to Buenos Aires. I'm probably going to stay in a vacation rental because next to the building that I'm supposed to be at, can't give all. I don't want to give details.
We're going.
But it's you're gonna laugh. I said it on another podcast, and someone's like, "Where's the birthday party gonna be?" I'm like, "Oh my god, it's a little creepy." Oh, for my kids. Uh, but anyhow, I looked at it, compared it. I was like, "Wow, this vacation rental is in a nice building. It's half the price of the hotel. I think I'll probably do it this time."
And
I know traveling, other people are doing the same. It's just accommodations. It's not. People are more and more comfortable traveling that way.
yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, we're seeing that. I'm sure a lot of people are seeing that as well. These last minute reservations and these, guests asking for discounts and, high demand. In the conference that we were in the panel, there was a poll that was talking about, how are refunds, been for people. And I think the question should have been changed, like how are discounts? And seeing what that poll looked like. But yeah, it's very interesting. I was excited about this topic.
Yeah, it's going good. We're still actually have higher average nightly rates, higher occupancy. It's just a lot of nerve-wracking times when you're looking at the month ahead and you're like, whoa, we're pacing way behind last month. So you have to do a lot of work ahead of time and managing your revenue more than ever. So if you're not feel comfortable managing your revenue and you want them help, give us a call. Or we do that for people as well, where we just take care of the stuff online and people
Yeah.
can operate. It's called our slice model. So you can check out what we do at our website of tangymgmt.com. But we covered a lot here today, Victor. All right, a lot. We had the Harry Potter house get poop in the bed. We talked about our friends in New Orleans. Hopefully they're going to be safe, and just all the different business mix we got going on. And just proud of what you're doing out there, getting your face out there, being a leader, talking about the industry. Come a long, long way since the early days of Tangy, man. So
I agree, man. Thank you, man. There's a lot of people involved in that, so obviously you're one of them. So it's appreciated, man. I got to learn from the best.
uh, I still don't know what I'm doing. So, all, but until next time, everybody, we gotta get a sign off here. Stay tangy. I don't know.
Ooh, stay tangy.
Stay tangy. Really better with you.